Hi again then guys, and so we've got another X-Tunes Extreme Circuit setup for you today, and this time it's for a vehicle with a slightly lower PP in a similar way to the V12 Vantage X-Tune that we did. And this particular vehicle is a muscle car, the Dodge Challenger SRT-8, and it actually makes a surprisingly capable track car. Now it would be even better if we could give this car a flat floor. Unfortunately, really unfortunately, that's not an option at the moment, because if we were allowed to do that, I strongly believe that the PP would be up around 620. But as it is, let's continue with the build. So I've gone for racing soft tyres, as I do with most of these X-Tunes. Obviously that's down to personal preference. Racing brakes, of course. Suspension, we've got the ride height as low as possible, front and rear. Springs we've increased to 1375 and 1125, the dampers to 5, anti-roll we've left on 3 for this one, neutral camber and tow. We'll come back to the gearbox last, as we usually do. For the diff, I've got the initial torque on 10, just to make the handling a tiny bit heavier. Now it's dependent on personal preference, of course. If you take it up to say 20, you can make it even heavier. Take it down to 5, you can make it a little bit looser, so whatever works for you. Acceleration and braking I've got as high as possible to counteract the initial torque and keep it nice and loose. As far as power, we do of course have an oil change, and then obviously you just want to fit everything basically. I never fit NOS on these X-Tunes, so that's down to personal preference. We've got the maximum downforce on the back from the special wing, the small rear wing, and of course the full weight loss package. As far as the gearbox, finally, this is of course not a top speed tune, plus this car doesn't have a particularly good top speed anyway, so we've got an auto setting of 205, then for the individual gears 4.2, 2.8, 2025, 1.6, 1.3 and 1075, with a final drive of 2.8. So that's it for the mechanical side of the X-Tune. Now let's take it out to an actual racing circuit to see if this muscle car can hustle with the other cars of the X-Tunes class. Now, in terms of sheer lap times, this car's obviously never going to come close to, say, a Viper ACR or anything like that. But for a muscle car, and for a car of its size and weight, because it's not exactly light, even with the full weight loss package, it handles itself extremely well. The top speed is still over 200, the acceleration is good, as you'd expect from a car with well over 800 horsepower, but primarily the twisty circuit ability really is very impressive on this car. Now, as far as recommending it for PP use, that depends on the driver. You use this where you see fit, but I guarantee if you fit this X-Tune to a Dodge Challenger, you'll be surprised at just how nimble a car of this size can be. So, if you decide to use this X-Tunes build, obviously I hope you find it fun and indeed competitive, and if you'd like to keep up with other builds like this from the channel as soon as they're released, be sure to hit subscribe down below. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.